My name is Ellein, and I'm going to take you on my personal journey of mental health. I was born and raised in Maralal town. It's in Samburu. I was a happy child, very active. And my mom at that time was 21 years old. She gave birth to me, left me with my grandmother, and had to come back to Nairobi and study. My grandmother was traveling quite a lot. She was an educationist. So I had to grow up at a very young age, which translates in my now. I'm very dependent on myself. But also, it was a difficult childhood because I had to fend for myself. And I was not nurtured as a child. So that's where my journey begins. I have mental gaps. I suffered trauma as a child because of extreme fear and pain. I was left alone, gunshots at night. I can look at photographs of myself as a child, and I have no memory tied to it at all, or any sort of emotion. And that was not something that I found weird growing up. You just manage through life. And just going through that as a child was very difficult for me. There's a time I fell and hit my head on the hot jiko. I cannot remember that. I burnt my hand. I cannot remember any of that as a child. These are stories that are being told to me right now. So, growing up, I was in Maralal, but my mom later got married in Nairobi, had a family, 2 siblings, but I was in Maralal. I kept moving from Maralal to Nairobi, and I didn't understand why I would do that, yet my family was in Nairobi. Why was I living in Maralal and my family was in Nairobi? Why was I getting that kind of education, struggling, and my family was here? Parents do certain things and they don't think about them because it's for the love of their children, which is very okay. That's what they know. But for me, it affected me throughout my life. So there was this time when I was 18 and I had to go and get my identity card in Maralal. And I looked at my identity, I looked at my birth certificate, and it only had 2 names, my mother's and my own. The part of dad was blank. It still is very blank. And I wondered, why is this? Yet I had a father. I look at it right now, today, and it's still blank. So that little fact told me at that age that I was rejected. And I didn't understand. My siblings had 3 names. I had 2. Physical appearance, I'm dark. My siblings are lighter. They were here. I was there. Obviously. But I had those questions, but I couldn't gather the confidence to ask what needed to be asked. So I moved through my life with that void and uncertainty. And I'll never forget this day when I was in Form 4. I was sitting for my final exams. And this lady, I schooled my high school in Samburu. And this lady came to me. She was a very close family friend. And she told me, Nasieku, unajua, we ni wetu. To translate, Nasieku, you're ours. And I asked her, what do you mean? And she told me, your dad is from our family. So I was like, okay. So these are the questions I've been carrying. It makes sense. But then, at that time, I'm young, I'm afraid, I have anxiety, I'm fearful. I didn't have the strength to pursue that. But then I said, okay, let me just ask and investigate. So soon after campus, I came to Nairobi. I used to travel quite a lot, just between Nairobi and Maralal. So when I came, I asked. So somebody told me ABCD about EFGH. And of course, parents, again. No, you are just, crazy. This is not, you are here, you have been schooled, you have been fed, you have been clothed. I said, okay, sawa. Further, you can even go and have a DNA test to prove that this is your dad. So I was like, hey, okay, sawa, maybe I'm the crazy one. There are those black sheep of the family, the children that don't look like the others. So I was like, maybe I'm the one. Let me move on. So I decided to pursue campus, with my birth certificate with no dad, my identity card with 2 names. But it was still with me. I was treated differently. People going on trips, traveling. As a child, I'm struggling. It still was in me. So I just decided, okay, fine. Maybe I'm just doing too much. Let me just focus on getting to campus, get an education, get a job, and let's keep the train moving. So I did that. Got a job, got a degree, became successful, won awards, and everybody around me knew Ellein was okay, But I was drinking excessively. I was popping pills in my drinks. But it was fun, That one, if you want to turn up, call Ellein, I was always the life of the party. But I was just masking my pain and my anxiety, and that fact of rejection, got into relationships and all that, just covering it. Successful. I was okay. Picture perfect. But I couldn't keep relationships. I couldn't do anything, I just needed to be in my space. So I found love, fell in love, and decided, now let me take the next step and start my own family. So that is when everything came tumbling down this year. In Samburu, we have various traditional processes when it comes to weddings. Okay, I've always just identified myself as Samburu. I have 2 names, Ellein Nasieku, it's a Samburu name. So I needed my wedding to proceed in a certain way because that was the only culture I grew up in. Even if I was in Nairobi, that was the culture I identified with. So we all sat, family, nini. I got the procedures. Now when it came to the part of negotiation of who owns who will get what cows. Women, we are owned, Yeah, and for us, of course, our culture, ng'ombe ndio. A cow is the only mode of exchange when it comes to marriage. But then, we couldn't move past that. My family started fighting. Where was she brought up? Who is she belonging to? Who brought her up? Where this? I just looked at my parents one time, sat them across the table, and I told them I need an answer. Where are we moving past this? Because now when the case of ownership comes in and there is this value tied to me as an individual, now everybody wants to fight over me. Yet when I was asking where do I belong and I was moving separation anxiety, nobody really wanted to tell me where do I belong. So why now? And I remember looking at my dad across the table and I wondered, this man has not given me his name. My birth certificate is blank. He has never acknowledged me in the way I wanted to be, like my other siblings, then now I am all of a sudden the firstborn daughter. Okay? And the things he told me, I looked at him and I said, this was not my dad. This cannot be my parent. Because if you want your child to move to the next stage, you support them, you're there for them. So I said, over the next few days, I need answers. I need to be told the truth. And you think you're ready for the truth, eh? The days that followed were difficult for me. I finally found out my dad, my real dad, is so and so. He comes from this family. It was not the one that the girl told me. That one just had family rumors. And I was even shown a photo. And I looked like him. The forehead. And the skin tone. So, I remember just asking one question. Did my dad ever see me? I don't know if any of you know where Samburu is. It is huko juu kwa map ya Kenya. And at that time, over 27 years ago, there was no road network, nothing. It was just dead. It's a dead place there, but it is growing. So I remember asking, did he see me? Did he even get to hold me? And I was told, no, he'd never got to see you. And that piece of information broke me. And where is he right now? Gone. Long, long ago. And I remember just sinking. I felt all sorts of emotions you could feel. I had been carrying anxiety, self-doubt all these years to find this one aspect, only to be told that it is here, but you cannot actually have it. It was difficult for me. That's when depression hit. I always just seesawed through emotions. Today I was happy, tomorrow I was sad. But that time, it was easy for that to just sink into depression. I couldn't identify with anything. My life was not my life. My work performance went down. I didn't want to talk to my friends. And mental illness, people don't understand, is an actual illness. It is chemical imbalances in your brain. My brain is alive, but my body couldn't move. Depression is numbness to anything, everything around you. I couldn't identify. I felt joy. I felt pain. I felt destroyed. I felt betrayed by my family, by everybody around me. I just sank for several months. And then, of course, society, when you decide you want to go for therapy, you're mad. So, I remember one day just driving to work, and I was on the southern bypass, and I just wanted to step on the gas and crash onto anything I could find. And the suicidal thoughts started coming. I wanted to end my life. But what would everybody say? How could I even begin? I didn't talk to anybody. And the few people that I even spoke to didn't understand what mental health is, what depression is. I mean, again, society, you are dressed, you are clothed, you are educated, you have a job, you are okay. But really you're not. So I was lucky I have an uncle who's a psychologist. I talked to him. He told me, get a therapist. And I did. And therapy for me was my saving grace. I would have died if I continued on that train. Therapy saved me. There is something about somebody who doesn't know you, who is impartial, who's non-judgmental, who just wants you to be okay. And I spoke to her, and we went down memory lane, and we did sessions and sessions and sessions. And I'm still on that journey right now. And I can say I'm okay. My skin cleared up. I shaved my head. I started losing weight. And I'm happy. But what I'm here today to tell you is mental illness is real. And there are things that we label as excuses. Oh, he's a drunkard, she's erratic, she likes sleeping with people, she does this. But truly, if you take time to actually find out what is causing the behavior, you'll realize that there is an illness behind this. And it requires medical attention. I'm on my journey to get the help that I need. But all of you here, if you feel that somebody's judgment or behavior is not as it used to be, it could be a cry for help. Sometimes you don't sleep, sometimes you sleep a lot, you sleep for days, you're dead, you're alive, you eat, you don't eat. And these are signs that are with us, but we are just labeling them as excuses, you know? So it could be a cry for help. And they need that medical attention. So for me, right now, I want a relationship with my family. I want a relationship with my friends. I'm on my journey to get myself back there, to be genuine around everybody. But I realized I kept giving a lot of myself to everybody around me and did not care about myself. And right now, I decided I will give myself that time. I will be selfish with myself. I will do what I want to do to make myself feel mentally okay, mentally stable, and I will not care about everybody else. And I'm here to tell you it's possible. I'm here, I'm the living proof that mental health is there. With proper medication and proper care, you can take care of yourself and you can live the life you want. I'm reinventing and recreating the purpose that was never given to me by anybody. Yeah, so thank you.